Good afternoon. Welcome back to In the Office with Scott and Wallace. I'm Robert Scott. These are my law partners.
Matt McNamara.
Hey everybody, Clint Wallace. Good to see you.
Hope everybody is doing well as we continue to recover from Hurricane Michael. Along those lines, we're going to discuss the continued impact of Hurricane Michael on this community and the different things that we're working on to help address various situations that have arisen. As a reminder, also, we are here every Tuesday at 2 p.m., so remember to tune in every Tuesday, and if you have any questions, we're happy to answer them. And that not just during the segment, but if you have questions after the fact, just call us at one of our office locations, or you can submit an email inquiry through our website. One of the things that we didn't talk about last week as we started talking about the impacts of Hurricane Michael was some of the various things that people are dealing with just as a result of the storm as far as property damage to their personal property.
Right.
In fact, we've had a couple friends call us about how to handle insurance claims where trees have fallen on cars or boats and things like that, and we've had to deal with some of the frustrations that they felt learning about what an insurance company might be obligated to pay as a result of that type of damage. And so to begin, I just wanted to give everyone a quick tip. Obviously, you can't go back and do this retroactively, but moving forward to protect yourself, we live where we have frequent thunderstorms and things where trees do fall. One of the things you might want to look at if you own a car or a boat or any type of personal property is you can look at purchasing insurance for a stated value. Vehicles, for example, are depreciating assets. So you buy them new, and over time they depreciate, and ordinarily what the insurance company would be obligated to pay if you ever suffer a total loss in one of those situations is the current market value of the asset. If you buy a stated value, or where you go in and actually tell the insurance company what you want the precise figure you want to insure the car for example, if that car is totaled, then the insurance company has to pay you that particular figure, and you avoid the depreciation and problems in that regard. So the quick tip, look at your policy. Again, we offer that if you want us to look at it for you. Something to look at so that you avoid, like I said, any type of frustration and an after fact with your personal property. But Clint, you want to talk a little bit more about, I guess, what we're doing as far as business losses and things like that.
Sure. Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for all the help that they're giving out to the community in response to the hurricane. I've personally been to Mexico Beach, Port St. Joe, Carabel, St. George Island, and East Point. A couple in particular, Killer Seafood in Mexico Beach, has been serving free meals all week to all the first responders. And not just regular meals, this is seafood, this is good food. It's really incredible what they've been doing. Same with the Beach Pit on St. George Island. And then I know Andrew's restaurant in Tallahassee has been over in Mariana doing the same thing. So shout out to all the people, and I'm sure there's countless other organizations and restaurants that are helping out, but those are ones that I've seen in person. As to what I've been working on, commercial claims. We've had calls from restaurants, real estate companies, property management companies, contractors, all different sorts of companies that have lost money due to the storm. Today, I was working on the difference between a business income or interruption loss and a contingent business income or interruption loss. The difference there being companies have insurance policies, and if they are closed due to the storm or due to, like in Mexico Beach, the government is restricting who's allowed to come into town, then they're going to have a business interruption claim, meaning that because their business is not able to operate, then they're losing money. We had a restaurant called in one of the affected areas. They're not able to open, so they're losing money. Another type of claim that sometimes people don't realize they have is what's called a contingent business income. And that's damage that you've suffered due to a loss to others. So for instance, we had a water supplier call us. Their customers, they can't get the supplies in that they need to go deliver their product out. So while they may be able to be open, they can't get the supplies they need to go sell that to their customers. And so that's another type of claim that oftentimes people don't realize they have. And so bottom line, if you're a business in the affected area and you've either had to close, or you think that you're potentially losing income because your customer base is not there or you can't get supplies, we can probably help you with that. So if you have any questions, it's free to call us. We can answer anything that you have and see if there's a way that we can help you get back on your feet after the storm.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. And then Matt, I think, wanted to talk a little bit. As everyone knows, Matt handles employment cases here at Scott and Wallace. Employment issues have arisen after Hurricane Michael as well. And I know we've received some calls from workers out in the field and things like that have suffered. Luckily, nothing too major, but minor injuries and that sort of thing. So can you give everybody, a little bit of advice on what to do if you're a worker
Right.
or you're helping rehab some of these areas?
Yeah, given the nature of the storm and all the damage that's occurred, there are a lot of first responders out there, linemen, power companies, a lot of people putting in a lot of hours to do a lot of great work to kind of get everybody back on their feet. But at the end of the day, it's important that you're protecting yourself. If you get injured, if you're a first responder or you're a lineman working for a power company, and you're injured, it's important not to push through it and keep your health and safety in mind as much as you want to assist everybody in the community and get everybody's life back in order. Make sure you report those injuries to your employer. You're no good to help everybody else out if you're not able to perform your work. So make sure you're taking care of yourself too. And Florida law provides protections for individuals who are injured on the job. If your employer terminates you for filing a workers' compensation claim, then you're protected from that. So don't be scared if you're injured and you don't want to report it to your employer. Make sure you do so. You're entitled to workers' compensation, and you have protections in place against retaliation. The state actually provides a number of protections against retaliation. Essentially, retaliation would be if you engage in some activity and then your employer decides to terminate you or give you a demotion or cut your pay. Things like reporting discrimination or harassment to your employer, refusing to participate in illegal activity, participating in an investigation conducted by federal state authorities. Your employer is not allowed to take action against you for engaging in those kind of activities. So it's important that employees know their protections and things that they can freely engage in without having to worry about losing their jobs.
Sure. And with all three of the claims that we're talking about today, be it property damage to cars or boats, personal property, commercial claims, or either employment or workers' comp, all are subject to time limitations. Some of them are insurance contract based, meaning that you have a certain amount of time. Sometimes it can be as small as 30 days. Others are statutory based. There's laws that say how long you have to bring a claim. So bottom line, if you think you have one, the quicker you can get to an attorney and talk about your claim, the more likely we are to be able to help. So.
That's right, and along what you were talking about earlier, Clint, I mean, we've been just awestruck by the response in the community. We are trying to do our part as well, and we continue to pray and think about everybody affected, and we're going to continue to rebuild, as we said last week, and fight back, and it's a hurricane. It was a bad blow, but we're going to come back from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm going to interject real quick. Clint, how is your house doing in Mexico Beach and your family's business?
Well, I appreciate the question. We have family with several different houses. We've been in Mexico Beach since the 70s, or my family has. My granddad started a business there back in the 70s, Wallace Pump and Supply. The business is now open. It doesn't have a roof. It doesn't have a large portion of the roof, but they're running by generator, and they're trying to help people with their supplies they need to get their houses back with electricity. So that's open. Sadly, one of the family's houses, my grandparents' house, was a tear down. And then I have two uncles' houses who, thankfully, the structure's still there, so they'll be able to be repaired. So we've been in Mexico Beach helping them and helping the business. So I appreciate the question.
any other questions?
I think they were just worried because you talked about your house last week, so
Yeah.
they were worried about that, which is a good question.
Yeah, as always, we're trying to stay focused because this has been, as you can imagine, we've received a lot of calls after Hurricane Michael. We still very much handle personal injury cases. That is our bread and butter, and so if there's any questions along those lines, now or in the future, please don't hesitate to call us. Of course, Matt's handling the employment and labor division at the firm, so any employment or workers' compensation questions, don't hesitate to contact him.
Sure.
And with that, if there's nothing, no other questions, I think we'll call it a segment.
All right. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Thanks,
We'll see
guys.
you next Tuesday.